Hello my friends, and welcome to the fourth day of our Kelli and Charli sew along. Today we'll be adding the sleeves to our dresses. If you have opted for the elastic neckline like I have, but also the sleeveless option, you'll be adding elastic exactly as you did on the neckline. So you're going to exercise your elastic a little bit, then you're going to stitch it with a zigzag stitch along the opening without stretching. Then you're going to fold it. You can see the video for day 2, and you can rewatch that because the process is exactly the same. You're going to fold it and zigzag stitch, and that will give you a nice hem on your arm opening. So pretty easy. If you're doing the facing option and you're still doing the sleeveless style, then you have done yesterday, or you're doing today, the burrito roll method. In my case, I am doing the sleeved option, and I am doing the 3/4 inch sleeve style. If you're doing the cap sleeve, this pattern actually has you line your cap sleeve. So there's a separate piece in the pattern that it's ever so slightly smaller than the cap sleeve pattern piece for the outside. This is so the lining is pulled a little bit under so it doesn't peek out. So for that, you're going to stitch along the hem, right sides together, open it up, and you're going to then attach it to the main. Super easy. Let me know in the comments below or in the sew along group if you have any questions regarding any of the methods that I have not shown in the video. There's a lot of options included, and I'm making only one dress, so I know not everything is covered in the video, but I'll be more than happy to help you if you have any questions or run into any difficulties. Let's get started. So grab the sleeves pattern pieces, sleeve pieces, and you're going to do, if you're doing the 3/4 or the long sleeve, you're going to go ahead and do a memory hem of 1/2 inch. This will help you when we hem on the last day, so don't skip that part. Now you're going to take one sleeve. This pattern has you attaching the sleeves in the round. So we're going to bring the sleeves right sides together. Each sleeve, you have my notches, you can see the notches, and along the side seam of the sleeve we're going to stitch with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Oops, let me do a triple stretch stitch. And it's going to go all the way down to the hem. You can go ahead and press your side seam open. You can finish your raw edge if you want. If you're doing a sportier style, you can definitely do this step with your serger. I always do it with the serger, but since I told you this is my fancy dress, I'm going to use my sewing machine a lot more. So I'm pressing my memory hem that I did just so it stays, since I'm not sure how this velvet will hold its memory hem. And I'm also pressing, as you can see, my side seam open. Let's repeat on the other side with the other sleeve. Again, I'm matching the armpit point and the hem right here, and I'm stitching with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. exact same thing. I'm going to open up my seams and just put a couple of clips to hold it down where I have my memory hem. Now we're going to attach the sleeves in the round. So turn your bodice wrong side out. Like so. And you're going to bring your sleeve and put it inside the arm opening, making sure that the notch, there is one notch goes in the front and the part that has two notches goes in the back. Okay, so turn your sleeve right side out, because these need to be right sides together. So my one notch means this is the front of my sleeve. I'm going to put it inside the opening, and I'm going to match the side seams with the side seam open, with the seam allowance open, and pin in place. Okay. This is my sleeve seam and side seam. Then I'm going to go at the top where I have my notch. So in between the one notch for the front and the two notches for the back, there is the shoulder notch. So that one I'm going to match with the shoulder seam. Again, right sides together with the shoulder seam open. Like so. And now I'm just going to pin the sleeves along the raw edge. Okay. Same thing on the back. And we're going to stitch this down with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. I like to start my stitching on the back and right next to the armpit part, keeping my seam allowance open. I'm stitching with a stretch stitch all around the raw edge. I'm not stretching the fabric, I'm letting my feed dog feed the fabric because you don't want any puckerings. When you reach the shoulder seam, make sure that you still keep your seam allowance open. course, like always, you can finish the raw edges with your serger or an overlock stitch on your sewing machine, or a zigzag stitch. And we're going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side. Now it's going to be a little easier because the sleeve will fall into place exactly as it should, with the right sides towards the right side, providing of course you've cut mirror images of the sleeves. So I'm just going to put a few pins at the shoulder seam, just to make sure it stays open. The seam allowance, I mean. And this is the last step for today. Tomorrow we'll be creating that beautiful skirt. Mine will be the knee length with the split. But there's a lot of options included. As you saw when you cut your fabric, the pattern has an option for mini length, like a floor length with a split, then a floor length but with an overlay, so there's no split. There's a lot of options included. Alright, let's do this stitch and then we're going to give it a good press. It is so unlike me to sew a dress on my sewing machine. This machine is barely ever turned on because I make a lot of bamboo dresses and they're like with quickly on serger and cover stitch. Or if I make a bag, I have my industrial for that. So this machine, while it's probably the most expensive one that I have in this room, doesn't get used as much. So I'm glad once in a while I have a pattern, fancy pattern like this one, that requires me to actually use its features and some of the fancy stitching, and but I still love it. She's my friend. Alright my friends, we are done for today. You can take a second to admire the beautiful bodice that you've created for your dress. It is so pretty. It is so pretty. Snap a photo of the bodice for your Kelli or Charli dress and post it in the day 4 photo comments of the Sew Along album. You can find the Sew Along album in the Made for Mermaids and Patterns for Pirates Sew Along group. This is upside down, but it doesn't want to stay otherwise. And I will see you back here tomorrow, and we're going to start working and creating that beautiful skirt. Talk to you soon. Bye.